Welcome to Love Fitness Studios podcast, live from Manchester, UK, speaking to entrepreneurs in the fitness, health and well-being industry, sharing stories about the real-life challenges and hustle. Now, over to your host, Nick Phillips.
Okay, welcome to Love Fitness Studios podcast number 14. Today I've got Kerry. I'm going to try and say this. Kerry from Kerrie Capelli.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How's it going, Kerry?
I'm alright, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in to the studio. Where are you from? Where have you travelled from?
West Horton.
West Horton, so not a million miles away.
No.
Alright, so I always like to start with back to the beginning. How you grew up, where you grew up, what you were like as a child, what you were like at school. So take us back.
Oh, this is a good one. So I was originally from a place called Braidmet in Bolton. And my mum, me and my sister moved away from there when I was about 4 or 5, and we moved to West Horton. So I've been there ever since. My dad still lives in Braidmet, mum lives in West Horton, so they're not together anymore. And as a child, I was quite complex, really.
Yeah.
Very hyperactive.
Yeah.
A little bit mischievous. My mum would never be like, "Oh, she's naughty." She wouldn't have it. I was mischievous.
Yeah.
But I was very driven from a really, really young age. Like even at 6 years old, I used to do stalls at the front of my mum's house because we were brought up on in a 2-up 2-down terraced house, and so we lived on a main road. So I used to gather all my toys together, put them all on the wall, and sell them off.
I love that.
So I knew my mum knew from a really young age that I was going to do something with business and I was going to be successful in whatever it was that I did do. And I was just very, very headstrong, really headstrong, my mum said, from a really young age.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you feel like that was just in your DNA? Do you feel like that was just you as a child, age 6, doing things like that? It's like Gary Vaynerchuk selling. Do you know? Have you heard of him? He's an American entrepreneur. He used to sell lemonade at the age of 5 or 6. So
really?
did you just what was you thinking? It's hard to go back that far, but what was you thinking? Was it just you wanted?
I wanted pocket money and
Did
stuff,
you?
and wanted to go to the shops, and because money wasn't something that we didn't grow up with money.
Yeah.
My mum brought us up single-handed on her own. So at times it was tough. There was a lot of times of struggle. So if we went into a shop and I couldn't have something, I'd think to myself, well, if I sell my toys, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'll be able to buy it myself. And I think that gave me the hunger for it as well. Not having a lot give me more of the hunger as I was growing up. So, when I was 13, I was really hungry for it.
What was you like at school?
I struggled at school because I was not academic at all. Dyslexic, ADHD, and I really struggled. And at the time, there wasn't much in place for us. We were just seen as the naughty kid, and that wasn't the case at all. I just struggled to focus, but I was really, really good with my hands. Yeah. And again, I had a paper round, and I'd do anything at the time to make money, sell sweets. I used to packet sweets up, sell them in the schoolyard and stuff. I wouldn't say I was a really bad teenager. I was just a bit mischievous, and had a bit of an attitude at times. But I soon got rid of that. My mum was quite strict with us being a single parent. She had to be, because if she let the reins go at any time, we could have gone a bit off the rails, but we didn't, because mum was, she was really strict.
So back to the school then. I suffered all the way through school with dyslexia, struggled all the way through exams, finished with no qualifications at all. I think I got something in English. Take me back to school then. So was it just you couldn't be bothered, or was it just I'd look at paperwork and it just would not make sense to me? I'd be when people say dyslexia, you think, oh, does that letter jump there? It doesn't. I just can't read it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I look at it, I'm just like, I'm like, I could sit there all day, or when it got to exams, I'm the same as you. We got put in a special needs class, and me and another one, and it was just like trying to be in with the cool kids at school, and you've got going to special needs every day. It's just so long. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it could go one way or the other. That you could either be, it could do you serious damage. I think they've probably changed it now. You're going off, like, you have to say bye-bye to all your schoolmates at breakfast and go, I had to go into special needs, or it could make you very confident. Do you know what I mean? So school, what was it like for you, like all the way through? Was it
just a struggle because they didn't get me? I was very misunderstood. You know, there was like, she doesn't sit still, she's really hyper, she's really giddy. My concentration was really bad. Like, I couldn't focus on writing an essay, but then put me in PE in a dance class or playing netball, then I'm fine. But it was misunderstood, and they wasn't educated enough on it for me then. Because if they was, they would have dealt with me a lot different and probably thought, right, well, she needs to do this, this and this. But it was all about academics and getting that work right, and I just couldn't do it. And my exams, I didn't get one GCSE. I did attend my exams, but I sat there just thinking, oh God, I can't even tell what this is saying. It was too hard to get my head around it.
It's an awful feeling. It's taking me right back to now being in the school hall and open the papers, and you just see kids all around you just whizzing through paper and closing. It's like such a 100% for me as well. It's such a daunting place, and it's taking me back there.
I felt like I used to think, what's wrong with me, and I'm not going to be able to go to uni, I'm not clever enough and stuff, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice feeling at all. But I remember my RE exam, I just put a big massive line through every paper, and I put, I can't do it.
I think I did the same.
And then I slammed the book, and I was like, I'm off. And I even left because it was a big hall where we did the exams, we did a single table in the hall, and the teachers would look at me like, why are you getting up? You can't get up now. You're only half an hour in. And I actually went like that with my hand at one point and went, I'm off, see you later, and I just went.
It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah,
like I say, sweating, like your head's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not the answer, is it? It's not the answer.
But what they'd say is, oh, she's a bit mad, Kerry. She can't keep still.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, what's wrong with her? She's a bit mad, you know. And the clever ones at the side of me are always going, what's number 2? And they'd look at me like with this look as if to say, Kerry, go away.
So you got a young child?
I've got 2 children.
2 children.
So I've got a 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And then we've got an 8-month-old son.
So 13-year-old daughter, how's she getting on with school?
She's doing really well.
Is she?
Yeah, she's doing really, really well. She's got a lovely friendship group. She tries really hard. She has got an element of dyslexia, but nowhere near as severe as me. But she's creative. She's very creative with her hands. She loves makeup and stuff. So I can imagine that she's probably going to go down a similar field.
Yeah.
But you know, she's just a good kid. She's got a good attitude, very respectful. Brought her up right, you know. Bit strict at times, but I think it's important. I try not to spoil her because I wasn't spoiled, and I want her to have that hunger that I did. And I think when you give them everything, they don't have the same hunger. Yeah. And it's finding that balance of not spoiling them but giving them a good life as well. Yeah, she's great. We did find out in the summer last year that she had type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed with that, which was horrendous. But she deals with it really, really well. Did
she go into a hypo? Is that how you found out, or was it just energy levels or sugar levels? Or
she started to lose a lot of weight.
Did she?
Yeah, but because we was in lockdown and we was with her all the time, we just thought it's teenage years. She's losing weight. She's going through puberty, one thing and another. Anyway, sat at the table one night, and just this instinct came over me. Mother's instinct came over me. Really strong feeling I got. I looked at her and her eyes were like sunk in a little bit. I said, are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm not. So that's when I rang 111. Yeah. They sent me up to Blackburn Road, and it was all so fast, within half an hour they was like, we're in an emergency situation. Shit. So her sugar levels were at 41.
Wow, that's high, isn't it?
Yes, so they was almost on the verge of a coma.
Wow.
I was heavily pregnant then. So but they got her on the ward really fast. I mean, they didn't even send for an ambulance, they told me.
Was this last year then?
Yes.
This is when while we were in lockdown?
While we're in lockdown.
Wow.
So I think I was about, baby came 3 weeks after, so I was 8 months pregnant. Or a bit less. But the words was, they said, you will get to the hospital quicker than an ambulance getting in, she needs to go now. So it was all like a big rush, got her there, and they was really good actually. They was on the ball, there was loads of doctors around her and nurses, and she responded well to the medication that they give her, so she didn't have to go into the coma, but she spent a full week in hospital, which me and her dad, we worked it between ourselves, so I was there all day, and then her dad would come and sleep in at the hospital at night because couldn't sleep on the beds because I was pregnant, and it was hospital bed, just not very nice, are they? And then with the stress of that, 2 weeks later, my little boy came.
Premature?
Yeah.
How
7 weeks. So it was a good weight. It was like £5.8, but I went at 33 weeks, but they tried to keep me going till 34 weeks because they were saying that about brain damage and stuff. So honestly, I had all that on my mind as well.
As well as running the business.
Yeah, and running the business and the dealing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You don't realise what's going on, do you?
No.
Sometimes.
No.
So the young boy now, how is he?
He's fantastic.
Is he?
Yeah, he was in intensive care for 2 weeks. Brought him home. He's really come on. His development's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with him at all.
No.
So we're very lucky.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's dealing with diabetes very, very well.
Is she?
So we're very lucky. Everything's strict routine in the house every day. She's up tablets. She's got to eat right.
Yeah.
Plenty water.
Yeah.
I'm on her all the time with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in a nice routine now, and I got my fight back for the business after 3 months, and that was it. I was like, right, I'm going for it again.
Good. I love that fighter spirit. Yeah. So we've spoke about school. So when you finished your RE, slammed it down, walked out, what was next for you school-wise? Did you go to uni? Did you go to college?
Well, I left and went home, and my mum was on me all the time. Kerry, you need a job. You need a job. You need a job. So I didn't want to work for anybody, and I just had this attitude of, but I don't want to work for anybody, Mum. She's like, I can't be told what to do, I'm one of those people, if I'm told in the right way, I'm okay, but if I'm not, I don't like it. I don't like people who can be rude, and if they're asking you something, they can be rude to you. I'm one of those people who'll be like, excuse me, just really strong-minded, really. And she was like, but you need a job. You need to earn some money. So she got me an interview at Argos, and I went for the interview, and I did really well. And I got the job. But she said, did you get the job? And I said, no. And I felt awful but I knew him at that time.
Are they still going, Argos?
Yeah.
Are they still going? Yeah, because it used to be. Yeah, go on.
And I said, I didn't get it, Mum. I was actually quite pleased with myself that I'd got it, because it was my first interview.
Yeah.
But I thought, I can't do this. There's got to have another plan for me. There's got to be something else for me.
Wow.
And I danced when I was younger. So I thought, I'll go to college and do my dancing and drama. Anyway, I did about a month doing that.
Tough.
And I just realised that dancing was just a hobby for me. It wasn't a career.
Yeah. We've got a dancer here who works for us, and she spoke to me about dance college. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough industry.
Yeah, and it can be quite bitchy as well.
Yeah, really bad. But most industries are, aren't they?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Fitness, personal training, gym owner, it's such a bitchy.
It can be dog eat dog if you let it.
Oh, ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah. So go back home, say, Mum, I've left college. She said, what do you mean you've left college? I wouldn't tell her or ask anybody's opinion. I'd just leave college and decide that I was going to do something else. And my mum said, what about hair? So I was like, yeah, could do. So she went into a local salon in the area, and she knew the woman who owned the salon, and she said, have you got any apprenticeships for my daughter? Anyway, I started it and I loved it.
Did you?
But I didn't last long there. Again, because it was lovely, the owner was lovely to me, but I clashed with some of the stylists, It was like, I felt like I was chained at backwash. half the time just washing hair, and you don't get a minute, and you're cleaning the floor, you're cleaning the toilet.
Yeah.
So my mindset...
I actually know what you mean. My first ever job from school was, guess what it was?
What?
Working hairdressers.
Was it?
Me and my cousin thought it'd be a great idea to go and get girls and go to college for hairdressing, so we got jobs. I worked 6 months in a hairdresser washing the old biddy's hair.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It was...
I drenched a lady once because I didn't...
Oh, they're very particular about the temperature and stuff.
But I knew I loved it, but I wanted to learn hair extensions, and I remember saying it to somebody at the time, and they were like, "Oh, they ruin your hair. We don't really work with them." Nobody worked with them at the time.
Right.
But I knew in my mind, well, I need to get this level 2 qualification. Once I've got it, I can do what I want then.
Yeah.
You know, once I've got that basic knowledge of hair,
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. But yeah, I struggled with that because, you know, back then there was this like stigma of you're an apprentice, you're down here and we're up here. And they did speak to you a bit, like click your fingers at you and stuff like that. And again, me being quite strong-minded, I wouldn't put up with it. And I remember one of the stylists saying to me, "I'm having my dinner, can you shampoo that lady? I said, "Well, I've been studying now for 2.5 hours shampooing, and I've not had my dinner myself." And she went, "Don't backchat me."
Oh,
yeah, I thought, oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So me being me, turns the shower off, goes in the kitchen. I said, "You can do your own shampooing." She said, "I beg your pardon." She said, "You're the apprentice." I said, "I'm hungry, you can do your own shampooing." I said, "You've been sat in here for 40 minutes, chin wagging."
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh God, it's not for me, this working for somebody else. It's just not for me. I can't be.
You do get treated. I remember it. It was like you go and do that, and the next they treat
And then
you
they'd
like
send
shit.
you a list for all these butties at the shop.
But the same again when I went doing joinery, it was the same. Clean up the back room. Do you know what I mean? So it's just the life of apprentice.
But you know, I never did that when I had my girls. No.
Did you not?
No, because when no one's above anybody, we're all equal, and there's a way to ask people.
Yeah.
And you know, if you don't want to turn over a staff all the time, we'll treat them right then.
It's probably because they were treated that way so it's like that whole when I get to that job, I'm going to treat them like it's that whole
it's
younger.
Like a bit of an ego thing,
Massively.
a bit of a power trip, yeah.
And you get that in the gym environment as well. When you get the new gym,
really,
I think it's the same again. It's on a lot of environments, isn't it? I can imagine it being like that in the army. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it's about being mindful how you speak to people, and if you do speak to somebody out of turn who is quite strong-minded and you get them challenging you back, then don't speak to them like that in the first place, you know. But
treat
me,
everyone.
this 18-year-old, they were like, "Who's this girl? You know, she's giving us a bit." Everybody, all the other apprentices were like, "Oh, can't believe you've just said that. Oh, can't believe you just said that." I said, "Why? I'm human. You don't speak to people like that." So from the off, I was like, right, got my level 2, 18-year-old. Gets my little car and off I trots. I'm mobile for 7 years or 6 years. I did 6 years, driving around to people's houses. So I didn't really get a load of salon experience.
Right.
Which then you have to have this salon experience. You need it. I didn't. I just kept investing money into more courses with extensions while I was mobile, and just self-taught a lot as well. You know, I got my basic knowledge, and then I just self-taught myself a lot of things.
Really good point. That I was back to the fitness side of things. I don't think that goes on enough now. Like I got qualified as a trainer, and then every single weekend I was like London kettlebell course. So we moved to London kettlebell course, learning this boxing course. I don't know if people are doing the same. Do you feel like that's the best way to get your knowledge? It's like literally
invest in the courses, and go on different courses, train with different academies, learn from one, take one from one and one from another. And that's what I did. I mean, the college, mainstream college was just basic. You just get your basic knowledge. You're always going to get more if you invest into private anyway. So that's what I did with the extension side of it. And I built a really good roundup in the area, you know. I mean, I was 18-year-old. Working for myself, you know, and I was making it work. Amazing. I was making a wage. Pregnant at 19. Still making a wage. Still made it work. You know, so, and I've never worked for anyone since.
Amazing.
I've worked for myself since I was 18 years old. I'm 33 now.
That's some good going. You just got it in you.
Yeah, I just very, very driven. And, you know, in the beginning, when I started off, it was all like, marketing was like leaflets. I would walk in the rain and post leaflet after leaflet after leaflet, and you know, I was so determined, you know, to do it, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew what the end goal was, but I knew it was going to take time to get it.
Yeah, really good way of thinking about things. You're coming at a similar angle to me, like no business school, just learn on the job, and just like I say, all the mistakes you make, it's just this is just a lesson, isn't it? It's just a lesson.
Yes.
That's the trick. So what was next then? So you've done your mobile. So I presume it's very similar to me. Driving to clients, you end up spending more money and sitting in more traffic jams than anything. It's actually not a great business model.
No, no, it's not. And I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more for myself. I wanted more for the clients, so that they're in comfort. You know, I'm not washing the hair over the sink, which was also hurting my back after a while, because I was like literally leant over, and it was really painful on the bottom of my back. I just wanted more, and I knew that if I had a couple of chairs, then I could fit more people in. And I was late for people as well, like the next customer was just late, and I just didn't like the business model of it in the end either. And I thought, I can't grow.
You can't.
I can't grow with this. And I was very young, and it did well, and it served its purpose, because I had my daughter, so she was planned. So I had her when I was I was pregnant when I was 19, had her when I was 20, and the mobile worked really well with her, because her dad would go out to work in the day, and then he'd come home, I'd go out to work at night and do people's hair, and that was from her being about 3 months old. Right. Well, saying that, actually, 2 weeks after she was born, I was back working. Yeah, so I had to, you know, it was either a case of that or don't eat.
Do you miss not having that maternity?
I feel like I was lucky because I had all day with her, and then I'd go out to work at night. So I did have the time with her, but I was knackered. I was exhausted, because I was being mum all day and then straight out the door at 6 o'clock. So it literally was like passing ships. You know, he was in, I was out, and I'd work till about 10:30 at night.
I could imagine hairdressing being, back to that, similar to personal training, that you are also getting offloaded other people's troubles and problems, and you're more of an agony aunt or a therapist, if you like. Do you know what I mean? You're listening, so that is mentally draining as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're like a bit of a counsellor to them sometimes. But then, definitely, you are.
Yeah, and it does, and sometimes I remember from me being a trainer that sometimes when you finish talking to people all day long, all you want to do is just be quiet at the end of the night. Yeah. Because your job is similar to mine. It's talking, and it's connecting with people, isn't it? Yeah. That's why they keep coming back. You're a people person, I'm a people person, and that's it. That's what they buy into.
It is, and that's why I think it's so important now, especially with all the platforms we've got and everything. You've got to be so in control of and yourself, because when you get home, if you can't speak to your partner because you're knackered through speaking all day, then it's not worth it, is it?
No.
So that's what I'm finding at the moment, that it's keeping control of everything.
Definitely, and that's why us with this new model online, I work the mornings and I can free myself up to go and pick up the kids, spend time with Louise, you know what I mean? And it's better, whereas the old way, I'll be in the gym in the morning, work all day, then get to the nighttime lot as well, and so by the time I get home, I'm literally knackered.
It is.
So you've got to find out, I don't know if it's the right word, the work-life balance, but you have got to find a model if you are going into a new business that's going to, you've got to think of the future as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like you say, so what was next?
So I really wanted my own shop. It was a dream of mine, and I had this idea in my head, and me being me, once I get an idea, that's it, I'm going with it, or I'm going to find a way to go with it. So I went driving round the town to find a shop, and I found one which was on a one-way system, so you could only drive out one way, no passing trade whatsoever. It was just a base for me to continue my clients that I had, grow a bit more, and I knew that once I'd grown there, I'd be off in a few years to the place I wanted to be, which was on the main street in my hometown with a big double-fronted shop where I'd be seen. So I seen this little sign in the window to let, took the number, rang the guy, and he said, well, I can come and meet you in an hour if you want. I said, all right then. So went in, had a look with Brooklyn in my arms, and it was a mess. It was an absolute mess, but I could see past that. I thought, even if I just whitewash it all, give the floor a good clean, put a bit of furniture in, I'll be fine, as long as it's clean and tidy. And it was affordable, I would say. The rent was affordable for me and my lifestyle at that time. So handshake, and that was it. I hadn't even told Brooklyn's dad.
Wow.
So gets home that night, and I said, "Oh, I've got something to tell you." But I knew if I'd have told him, because we were completely different people. Obviously, we're not together anymore.
Yeah.
We're completely different people. If I'd have told him, he would have been like, "What if this? What if that?" And that's just the way he is, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those people. I don't. What if? Yeah, I don't procrastinate on anything. If I want to do it and I can afford to do it, and I see that it's going to be a good outcome, I'll do it. Nobody else's opinion matters really. So he was all right actually. He was like, okay, well, fair enough. You know, you're earning the money to make it work, so fair enough. And he also was glad for the fact that I would be going to work and going home, you know, not either and everywhere in the car and stuff. So that's what I did. I opened that shop and I called it Capelli Lounge. Now, I called it Capelli Lounge because I wanted to call it Hair Lounge. At the time, that was quite a trendy name. And my mum was like, I don't like it, there's too many. What about another name for hair in another language? I was like, well, what? You know. And she went, Capelli means hair. I said, well, what a lovely... It actually rung really classy.
Yeah. I thought that was your surname.
Well, everybody does. Everybody says, what is it with Capelli? And I'm like, there's a little story behind that. And it stayed with me. It stayed with me all the time. And I do still love it now because it's me and it's where I started from. Anyway, I only lasted about 2.5 years in that shop.
Did you, back to go before you did the handshake, did you have a business plan? Or did you do your numbers, or was it just like...
In my head, yeah.
Same as me.
In
Same
my
as
head,
me,
yeah.
yeah. So it wasn't like you sat there and go, right, if I get this and thought business rates and all that, it was just like...
I had balls of steel.
Yeah.
I had absolute balls of steel.
Yeah.
And that came after for me. I was like, well, it's all right. I couldn't afford that. And then the paperwork came out later on. The risk came first and then the paperwork came
There's
later
always
on.
hidden extras that you don't think of though, isn't there?
Yeah. But if you sit and like ponder on that for too long, you're going to end up saying in the end, oh, I might not do it. So I didn't give myself a chance to write them figures down, to give myself that chance to say, well, I might not do it because I might be able to afford it. My attitude was, I will make sure I can afford it, and I will make sure that work comes in so that them bills get paid.
Yeah.
And then I went to pen to paper.
There's no option, was there? So did you do the place out yourself, or did you get builders in, joiners in? How did you...
So I had £2,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Which then seemed like quite a lot, but now, starting a business up, it's just not, is it?
No.
And I kitted it out for £2,000.
Did you?
Yes. They left a desk in the reception desk, and I put cardboard under it because it used to rock, just to tick me over for a bit.
Yeah.
And smashed it. Did really well.
Amazing.
Yeah. Within 2.5 years, I outgrew the premises.
Amazing.
Yeah. Which then enabled me to get the bigger shop on the high street, double fronted. So I went from a rental of £500 a month to £1,200 a month. So again, it was another big jump.
Yeah.
But again, I did exactly the same thing again. Walking past and I seen all the builders in it, and I thought, oh my God, that's a perfect location, my dream.
Yeah.
And I went in, and they were all on the ladders. I said, excuse me, who owns this shop? He said, me. I said, can I have it? He went, well, we've not even advertised it yet. I said, I'll have it.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't, at the time though, I'd broke up from Brooklyn's dad, so I didn't really have anybody to sort of answer to or even ask. It was my decision and that was it.
Yeah.
But what I did have was a mortgage with Brooklyn's dad. And it went a bit, you know, we broke up, he went his way, I went my way. And I was still in the house. Now, it was either keep the house and keep the other shop, or let the house go and go for the dream. And that's what I did. So that was a bit shitty, letting go of that, but I had to make that decision. It was pay that mortgage or invest more in the business, and that's what I did at the time. And again, it paid off. Everything I've done has paid off. Every, dream, idea, everything that I've had has paid off.
Did you have other stylists working for you, obviously, in the other shop, or was it?
So, from the first shop, I had a Saturday girl who did come with me to the new shop.
Yeah.
But by this time, she was leaving school. She was coming into looking for a job, so I gave her an apprenticeship. She didn't last long with me. And then I had a girl renting a chair for a while, but then she left and went on to her own thing, creating her own dream.
Yeah.
When I got the new shop, when they went, I was like on my own, and I had time to think about what I wanted. I knew that rent-a-chair wasn't for me. Was not for me at all, because...
For what reason?
They work for themselves.
Yeah.
Right, so their passion, their loyalty is not with you.
Yeah.
It's with themselves.
Yeah.
So
similar to person. It's so similar to owning a gym, this.
Is
Everything,
it?
Yeah, go on, carry on.
So like, even down to the cleaning after themselves, they clean up a bit and off they pop. They go home and they forget about everything else, which is fine, But that for me, as a business model, to grow is not gonna work for me personally. So what I wanted to do was have a team that could grow with me. But what that meant was I'd have to go without for a while. So look after them before I look after me. And that's what I did.
So how did you do that?
So I did this girl's hair, who is now my best friend. We've had a really strong friendship now for 8 years. Really strangely, I did her hair. When people say to you as well, sometimes it's not about who you've known the longest. It's so true that. Because she walked into my life having her hair done in the salon. And she was I just loved her straight away. It's strange, really. I was chatting to her and said, "What do you do?" She said, "I'm a hairdresser. I've had a little girl young. She had her when she was 17. She said, but I work in the perfume shop because I can't get a job in a hairdresser's." And I just thought straight away, what a grafter. Just listening to her, her whole morals and values were very much how mine are. Anyway, I never thought anything of it, but I kept her in the back of my mind. So when I needed a stylist, I got in touch with her on Facebook and said, "Would you like to come for an interview?" And she said, "Oh, I'd love to, yeah." And then she came and that was it. And then we became best friends as well. And we still are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
So that's unheard of, really, isn't it?
Very unheard of, but we have a very good respect for each other.
Yeah.
So she worked for me, Chantel, for 6.5 years. So I would pay her a wage every month, and a good one. I always said, if I do well, you do well.
Yeah.
And I felt that we both respected each other more for that. Sometimes in the salon world, you see that the owners take, and then the stylist is working for not a great deal of money, and they're getting deflated. There's no incentives. They're thinking, do you know what? You're flying around on your fancy holidays, and I'm grafting behind this chair all day.
It's always,
and off they go, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, right, I'm going to have to sacrifice my income to give it to the girls. And then, but it'll come in the end.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's the best thing I did.
That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, best thing I did.
Because like I say, similar to what you're doing, what I did,
Yeah.
the worst thing you could do, and we had it all the way through having the gym, is personal trainers pay you a rent. Well, they think they owe you everything for that rent. It's like, where's the toilet paper? Do you know what I mean? What, that machine's broke, fix it, I pay my rent. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not tidy enough, I'm not getting the Hoover out.
Yeah.
There's not, and that was, I think that was one of the main reasons what pissed me off with the gym is there was no, it was tough to get that team working together. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I pay you a rent, so why should I do extra?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's tough.
It is, and it's hard because you're only in control of it all up to a certain point. Like with the hairdressers, say, well, you can't tell me what to do. I just rent a chair off you.
Yeah.
If you say to someone, can you just tidy that up? They look at you like, why should I? It just wasn't for me, and that was not for me at all. No, and I see a lot now these days. It's very what I did there is rare.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in my industry. No, you don't see that.
Do you not?
No.
Is it just all rent chairs?
They all rent chairs, rent nail desks, makeup stations. It's very, very rare because of the cost that it costs to run it. But
it's a safer option.
The business was good. It was a strong business.
Was it?
So it was working.
How long did you have the bigger shop?
Capelli Lounge, 7 years. So I've had Capelli Lounge altogether for 10 years, but I had this last shop 7 years.
Right.
So I had Chantel, she's been with me from day one.
Yeah.
Lucy is my friend as well. Lucy came from school as an apprentice.
Yeah.
Princess Lucy, we call her. She couldn't use them up. But again, lovely girl. You know, she likes the hair industry.
Yeah.
She stayed with me for 6 years. And she's just recently moved on to her own dream of hair products.
Right.
So she realised in the end that she likes the industry, but she doesn't really like being behind the chair too much.
Yeah.
So she's gone and opened her own shop for like colours and peroxides and things like that, which is fantastic because we've not got anywhere in the area.
Yeah.
But again, we've created a really good friendship on trust and loyalty, and we're very, very close, like a little family.
Yeah.
My mum worked for me.
Did she?
Yeah, my mum is a CBT therapist.
Right.
So I needed, in the clinic side of it for hair loss, we've got a trichologist. Myself, I do the hair replacement, then we've got a trichologist, but I wanted a CBT therapist as well.
Which
to help
is?
Cognitive behavioural therapies.
Okay.
Yeah. So it helps people with like strategies for hair loss. So if somebody's got trichotillomania and they're struggling not to pull, then CBT is what they need.
That doesn't make sense to me. You're going to have to explain.
Right, okay. So trichotillomania is an impulse control disorder. So it's where somebody pulls at the hair.
That happens?
Yes.
Hair on your head?
Yes.
So
it's a coping mechanism for that person. So some people turn to drink, some people turn to drugs, some people turn to food, some people get trichotillomania.
Wow, I've never ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very psychological.
Yeah.
And I can install an integration system, which is a hair loss system, onto that client. However, that's not going to stop what's going on in that client's mind. So you need the CBT to help that client learn how to stop pulling.
Wow, I never ever knew that was a thing, and it's common, is it?
Very, very common. Yeah, some people do it with their
women
eyelashes.
Or men?
Mainly in women.
Yeah.
But men can get it. Yeah.
So they're literally pulling the hair out.
They pull it.
Yeah.
And they put it under the nose, and then they throw it, and they just sit doing that, and they don't even realise they're doing it. They don't feel it. Because when they do it, it might be painful to somebody else, but that pain is releasing something from them, so they don't. It's quite an enjoyable pain for them sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
Trick.
they end up
the
with
short name is Trick.
Trick.
Yeah.
I've learned something new there.
Yeah.
So they end up with ball patches or?
Yes, ball patches, yes, or maybe just one patch, or maybe just severe thinning of the hair. It's how they've dealt with whatever they've had thrown at them in their life. So normally you find it's very deep rooted. So to work with a client that's got trick and install a system, the system acts as a barrier to the trichotillomania, but it's not dealing with what's going on in the mind. So having the three together, it's like an holistical approach, really.
Wow, I've learned something new there.
Yeah.
So have you still got the lounge? Have you still got?
So Capelli Lounge no, I've not got that now.
Yeah.
Because I've put everything under one roof.
Okay.
So my mum come work for me doing that, but she also worked for me behind the scenes on the manuals and everything for the education.
Yeah.
And then my sister was a social worker in mental health.
Yeah.
And she came and worked for me as well.
Right.
So we became a really strong family unit.
Yeah.
So for 2 to 3 years, what it was I wanted to grow the business.
Yeah.
And the brand, right?
Yeah.
But me being behind that chair and my feet stuck to that floor, that wasn't going to happen. You can't do it all, can you?
No.
You cannot hug it in and do it all. So I did that because I was getting help in all avenues. So I could come away from the shop floor and focus on building it. And by doing that, I went back to uni. Well, I went to uni and did a teaching degree.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, while the shop was being run, but I was still in and out of the shop doing clients and stuff and doing my hair loss.
Yeah.
And then I was doing a day a week at Style Women's Only Prison. They wanted to send me to Bolton College, to a hairdressing college, but I didn't want to go. I wanted something more complex. And the reason for that is because at the time I thought I wanted to work with educating like offenders, you know, when they've come out of prison, or
female or male or both.
Well, both, yeah. Any it wouldn't have bothered me, yeah. But when I did my placement in the prison, it changed my mindset a little bit when it came to setting up my academy. I realised that wasn't the avenue I wanted to go down.
Was it? So what style prison like?
It was an experience. It really was an experience. And I met some really nice people as well. You know, what was really sad was there were some people in there just through a bad impulse decision that anybody could probably be in. And that was heartbreaking. You know, like I heard so many different stories. And some people are in there and they should be, and that's it. Lock the door and throw away the key as far as I'm concerned. But some people just were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or a stupid impulse decision, or even people who've had like domestic abuse from the partner, and over time, years and years of it, and then they've snapped. But then they get put in prison for 25, 30 years. And it's like that, you know. So I learned a hell of a lot.
Did you?
But I also learned that it was too complex for me to deal with that. I thought, I you know, and I'd get myself too emotionally involved. If they didn't come to class or whatever, I'd be like, well, where are they, what they're doing?
What were you teaching in the prison?
Hair.
Was it?
Hair extensions and stuff, yeah.
So when they came out of prison, they've got a job sort of thing?
Yeah, so they, obviously when they're in there, there's a gym in there. They can learn anything. They can learn like PT, cooking, hairdressing. So we was giving them a qualification that when they do leave prison, they've got something to go out there with. And I did have quite a few of them reach out. They found me on Facebook and asked me for jobs and stuff. But you know, I was going down a different avenue then. So, but it was an eye opener. And they took me on the wing, and then I went into the rooms, and that was an eye opener how they lived, you know, in them little rooms.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a proper eye opener. But I got on with them all really well.
There was
no. There was one girl. I was doing theory, and she was a bit rude, like a bit cheeky. And I must have said, you know, come on, calm it down now. And she started swearing at me and stuff. But I think my reply, she realised I wasn't going to take any crap. So I said, if you don't want to learn, then leave the room, you know. It didn't bother me at all. You know, I was in there with murderers and stuff, you know, and didn't bother me one bit.
Treat them as people.
As people, Everyone's got a reason why, you know, and a story, and I appreciated that. And I never asked anybody why, because you wasn't allowed to. But they'd just tell me.
Would they?
Oh, yeah, they'd just say, you know why I'm here, don't you? And I'd be like, no. And the scariest thing one day was, because my partner's a barber, I brought him in with me to do some barbering, and he was showing a fade on one of the girls, and the blade, it was on the side, and they were all just, they wanted it, and I didn't think to move the blade. I left it there, and I got a roasting for that.
Did you?
Yeah, because obviously they use it for things, you know, self-harm or whatever. And that opened my eyes, because I thought, God, you wouldn't, you know, it was so small, so tiny. But this honest girl, she came over, she said, I think you need to move that because you're going to get in trouble. I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know, that panicked me. Because I'm like, oh God, I could have caused damage there. You know, they could have done something stupid or something to somebody else. You know, so that was a big learning curve.
Wow. I was thinking about this the other day. We were watching something, me and my wife, and I was thinking, I'd never ever, I don't think I could even go into a prison.
Really?
I just don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's different once you're doing there, but it's just I don't know. I think it's just, I think for me, it's like not having that freedom. Not to, I don't know. Like obviously, as a visitor, it's completely different. But I think Yeah, I'd swerve it like a...
I tell you what I did feel when I used to walk up to the gate to leave. I used to feel really like a guilt, like, God, I leave that gate now and my life's my own, and also a fear of a thought. There's two things I've always feared in life. One's death and one's prison.
Right, yeah.
And I thought, I would never, ever want to be here.
But like you say,
You know,
a couple of little decisions.
Impulse decisions.
Like road rage, even driving, looking at a text or anything, like you don't realise that it could happen like that.
Yeah, and I didn't realise, like, I didn't know much about joint enterprise at the time, which is, you know, you can be at the scene of something but you've not actually physically done it, and you can get the same sentence. And it's like, oh wow, you know, it really opened my eyes.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and there was a podcast about a guy who was on death row for a murder he didn't actually do, and he got let out after 20 odd years, but he served, and that was it. I'll send you the link to that. That was a bit,
I'd love to watch that.
It's very
I love
moving.
stuff like that.
Yeah, very moving. Is it over in the States?
Well,
but
I met people that were, they were probably innocent, and some weren't, some were. Some would, like you say, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, and that was sad, really. And some of the people, there was one girl in particular, she's gone on to have her own salon, and she's done really well. We keep in touch on Facebook. Yeah. And I'm really proud of her for that. You know, she made a mistake, she did her time, and she changed, turned it around.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Love that. So what was next for the business?
So then I went, God, it's a long one, isn't it? So I went to uni, did that, and then I needed to, so then I changed my mind about the direction I was going in with education. So I wanted to do more of a private education. So, you know, anybody who wanted to train in hair extensions and hair loss, that's what I wanted to deliver. So set all the manuals up for that, for the academy. And then I started doing my hair loss a lot more. So the salon was running absolutely fine. I didn't go I've not been behind the chair in there now for 2 years. So I was able to grow all the rest of it.
Did you just decide that yourself, or was you getting coached?
I did it myself.
Did you? Yeah. You just realised you're not going to move the needle.
Somebody asked me this the other day on Clubhouse. A guy who has made a huge success out of having a lot of salons. He said, have you had a mentor of some kind? I said, no, I've not, but my mum, being in that environment with the CBT, we're a very psychologically switched on family. So I've been around things, you know, and heard things, and
positive thinking.
Very positive thinking. My mum's very much into mindfulness and stuff like that. And you know, so, but I am, like I say, I'm in tune with it myself anyway. You know, I'm quite intelligent with stuff like that. But what was I saying then? I forgot.
So you're talking about the academy that you were...
So set the academy up. The academy was going really, really well. The hair loss was going really well. So much so to the point that I needed another premises. So I opened another shop further down the road, which I just ran my hair loss from. So the salon was the salon, academy was above the salon, and then further down, a few doors down, I had the hair loss clinic. But the end goal was to have everything under one roof. Right. But obviously it just came up and it was convenient, and if I wanted to come back to the girls or the girls needed me, we were a couple of doors away from each other. So that worked really, really well. But the end goal, the end dream, was to have my own headquarters and have everything under one roof. So that being education, salon, hair loss and wholesale. I wanted my own brand of hair, closures, everything to do with extensions and hair loss. I wanted to have my own brand.
Amazing.
So so the education did go really well, even so much so that one of my students travelled from Arizona, who is now a franchisee to Kerrie Capelli.
I saw that the other day. Yeah. How did she get in contact with you then?
She found me on Facebook.
Did she?
Yeah, she liked my work with her integration and she could have trained anywhere, you know, and she wanted me to train her, and we hit it off really well.
Where's she based?
Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah, which I am due to go out, but obviously with everything with COVID, you know, we've just got to wait for the right time for me to go. I might be able to go because it's work, but just have to see. So so did that, and then in the first lockdown all that happened with the kids. But I had a lot of time to think and reflect, and time's not something I always have. So I thought, you know what, why don't you just do it now, Kerry? get everything under one roof and do it now. But I was at a bit of a crossroads, which is why I got in touch with Tim.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I'll just work out some new marketing strategies and stuff. Anyway, got in touch with Tim, and Tim was like, you need a rebrand. You are the brand. Capelli Lounge has been and gone now. It's about you, and we need to see you bringing yourself more out of the brand. People want to know who you are.
Yeah. And
that for me, that just ticked. I thought, wow, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
And then when he said it's Kerrie Capelli, I thought, Kerry, really. But the more I said it, and the more he said it, and the more I saw it, I loved it.
Yeah.
So went away, had a think about that, and then I had a second Zoom call with him, and I said, "Are you all right?" He said, yeah. I said, "Love the idea." I said, "I'm going to put it all under one roof." He went, "I knew you were going to do that."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm going to do it. Why not?"
Yeah.
So then I found a unit, which is near my house.
Yeah.
Very big, enough for everything.
Yeah.
And I just went for it. Yeah.
Was that so? That was last year when you did
That
this?
was August.
August.
I got the keys in August.
Did you? Are you in there now then?
Yes, still doing works on it because everything's been slowed down because of COVID.
Yeah.
So it's looking fantastic, but the academy's huge. The wholesale side. So that's another thing I did. For years I've been sourcing hair, but again it was time, investing the time into it to set the online shop up. Get the right product, get the right packaging. Just required a lot of time. So I set that up as well.
Wow.
So now we've got the Kerrie Capelli HQ, which under that is the wholesale, education and hair loss. And the salon now, what I did do is Lucy went and set her own business up doing products.
Yeah.
My sister still does stuff behind the scenes, but she had another little baby, so she was quite occupied with that. My mum still does a bit of a CBT privately and does a bit of Reiki. But she does work for me behind the scenes sometimes still. Always there for me when I need them.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my train of thought again. What was I saying?
No, you're just talking about the business now. You're talking about
there was a reason though that I was saying that.
So where are you up to with the building, the stage of the building?
So it's just the point I was making then was there was Chantel left.
Right.
So, and obviously the business is growing and growing.
Yeah.
And in the first lockdown, Chantel didn't get no help from the government because she'd only been self-employed for 12 months. So I had a really, really good think about things, and I thought, do you know what? She's given me 8 years, and that's very rare. She's my best friend, and she deserves it. I mean, she deserves it, so I gifted her the salon.
Wow.
Yeah, so now, everything to do with hair, it's hers.
Is it? Wow.
Yes, and we've built her a small, like a salon area of her own.
Yeah.
In the unit.
Yeah.
And she just pays a rental for that, but the business is now hers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So a bit of a personal question, not personal question, but a bit of a selfish question. When do you think the salons will be back open? I need my haircut. Because at the minute we're the 12th of February.
I don't know.
We're deep in lockdown.
I think maybe April.
Is that what you're thinking? Is that the word on the street?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, and I feel really sad for him.
My hair's going to be ridiculous, man. It's already growing off the ears. I might have to have one of your cuts.
I think April. But we don't know. We just don't know, do we?
Do you think?
Yeah, I think when we went back after the first lockdown, as busy as Chantel is, and if anyone says any different, they're lying. What a shock, because we would have like so many people in at one time, people in the waiting area, people in the backwash room, people in the salon. The pace just went really slow.
Did it?
Oh God, yeah.
Because of why? But I mean,
because we can't have that many people.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. My old model of the gym was have 30 people in boxing room, 30 people in a spinning room, 30 people in the gym upstairs, and I just thought to myself, for a long time, it's never going to go back to normal.
No.
You're going to have half because it's going to go. Everyone's going to be separated. COVID. And we were spending about 70 quid a week on hand sanitizer. People just pumping it. You know what I mean? And wipe down things. It's like business now is like you really do need to think about it. So anyone that might be young going through college thinking I want my own salon, What advice would you say to them now?
Salon, I'd want to say go for it, because I'm all about following your dreams in this industry, but what I would say is if you can have like a small area somewhere, maybe not a big shop, just something small, that would be better, or something in your garden, or something. Keep your cost down as much as you can, because I don't think it's going to return to the busy hustle and bustle salons that we once saw. I think it's going to be a bit of a like one-to-one service kind of thing. If it does go back to that, then I'll eat my words, but personally I don't think it will. But what I would say to them is, don't just do hair and do the one thing. You need to be diverse. Have a lot of diversity in this industry, because you need to generate income from different avenues with the way things are going. Definitely.
And I suppose you have to build your following, do you?
Yes.
Build a strong following.
Yes, which has took a long time for me, that is something that takes time. It's consistency, which is hard work, as well as running your business, It's not easy, but just consistency, and not over spending at first on it, especially in this current climate. Even if you've got a small room at your house and you can invite people to your home eventually, start off doing that, and then see where you go and see what happens with the economy before you open this new shop, big shop.
I did want to just brush on one thing, because I know I was listening to one of your lines the other week, or it was more about social media side of things.
Yes.
So what's your thoughts on social media? What's your thoughts on Instagram? Obviously Clubhouse is around now. What's your take on the way of doing business via social media? Because you were saying a good point about you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers.
You don't.
So yeah, I'd like to hear a little bit more about
that. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, really. I love the fact that it puts you on a platform and you can promote your business. But what I don't like about it is the very fake world of it, and the kiss ass world of it. So much so that somebody will kiss somebody else's ass who's got 100,000 followers because they've got 100,000 followers, but then they won't like your post or support you. It's not for me. I want to be that person, and I'm proof of that person, that I've got a franchise in Perth, I've got one in Arizona, and I've got 6 affiliates in the UK, and a successful business, and I've got 22.5 thousand followers. That's not come because of that. That's come because people have got to know me and serious grit. It doesn't always mean that somebody else is better than you or doing better than you because they've got more numbers. And I just think we need to see more real talk and real stuff now. For me, I'm not into this, like, let's get up in the morning, take a picture of this outfit and post it, and
it's so much that going now.
It's so shallow, so
but there's people making serious cash in there.
But are they?
Well, that's the question. That's the question. Yeah.
I don't.
These influencers and stuff like that.
Like, are they? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think it's a lot of bullshit there?
Sometimes, I think there's a lot of bravado, a lot of. It's like, you see, I'm just sat with a wine. Everything's perfect. Everything's staged. Everything's like, like with my videos. Jordan was like, "You're not going to do your hair?" And I'm like, "No, I'll put my snapback on. I am who I am." Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I like a nice picture. So does everybody. Like lots of people, it makes you feel good about yourself. But every single day, like that, and everything being so regimented and perfect, life's not perfect.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the numbers, people have got to get these numbers out of their head. I've been there, done it, friends who you think are your friends, who you think should support you, supporting other people's businesses who they don't know, but they don't like anything you do. That's another thing I don't like.
How do you deal with that?
I used to take it quite personal.
Are you a sensitive person?
Yeah.
Stuff like that?
Yeah. Yes, but I'm a lot stronger now than I ever have been. For me, personally, it's like, if I see your post on Instagram and you're doing your business and you're doing everything you can to keep networking and you're doing well, I couldn't just scroll past you and ignore you. If I saw it, I thought, oh, look. If I didn't see it, then fair enough, because sometimes you don't always see everything. But if you've just scrolled past and not even shown a bit of support to your pal or to someone you like or you get on with or someone's business you believe in, then what? Why? Do you know what I mean? Or am I just...
I've never looked at it that way, but I can see where you're coming from. I personally, I struggle with people that have a bit of a... I don't know, like you say, you see friends drop off, you see unfollows go, and you shouldn't look into it, but you do, I do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You do look at, oh, I wonder why they're not following us, or they used to like my post. I've had it with the gym. When we flipped our business, we honestly, I helped so many people from coming into the gym to then becoming trainers, because I've said to them, you can do this, you can looked after them, do you know what I mean? They've asked for, do you know what I mean? I've always been there to look after them, and as soon as you say no to them or for something because it doesn't sit well with you or whatever, then from there that you're the big bastard or whatever, do you know what I mean? So I've had that side of things with the scrolling and stuff like that. I don't think I paid that much attention, do you know what I mean? But it's hard, isn't it?
But if you had a really good friend, and you saw this person continuously supporting somebody in your industry, who
I've had it,
and then they didn't even like anything you did. It would. It's not nice for me. It's not nice, and I just think, you know what? Sometimes the closest people to you can be a bit jealous, and that's the saddest thing about it all for me.
I heard a great quote yesterday. I can't remember his name, but he was saying that there's always going to be 7 people that want to see you fail. There's always, and they're going to be quite close to you as well. And you know what? There is, and I think you've just got to get that crocodile skin.
You have,
and it's tough because no one tells you this at business.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Like my skin, I'm so tough skinned now. Like I don't, honestly, I've, to be honest, so I don't really get time to see who's viewing my stuff or no, but I've been there where I have been upset.
But you do need to work on that as well. We do need coaching about how to deal with haters. Do you know what I mean? And it is important because it does play on the mind. And for me, it was always at night time when I'm trying to drift off, I'm thinking, fuck, like, do you know what I mean? Or if Louise says, oh, you've seen this, what they've shared, or whatever.
I've been in like people's WhatsApp groups or something. I find out everything as well because we live in like a small town. And I think, well, that's weird because that person watches every single story I post. They're the first person to bob up. So you must be really interested in what I'm doing because you're still watching me. Because otherwise you'd just piss off, wouldn't you? You wouldn't watch that person, scroll or unfollow, but no, they love to watch. So for me now, I just think, well, you know what? It is what it is, isn't it? Just
you learn, don't you? You do learn. And I think
massively. I have a really small circle. I have a lot of friends, but I have a small circle of my best friends, and I keep it that way. It's very important.
That's the best bit of advice you can have, isn't it?
Yeah, and I cannot be around negativity. I'm one of those people that if you talk negative to me or call other people, I can't. I'm off.
I've had to delete a lot of people out of my life. That's their mindset to drag other people down.
Can't be doing
and like
it.
you say, I can count on my hand.
I like like-minded people and my best friends, but I'm one of those people as well. If I love you, I love you. But if you hurt me, I'm a cutthroat. You'll be gone. That's it. Out my life, gone. Don't need the negativity. See you later. Move on, and I just go forward. It's like there's this particular lady I know. She used to come to the salon, and she would like to gossip about people. And then I found out she were having a gossip about me and blah 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 blah. Anyway, I just cut her like out my life. I didn't say anything. I didn't give her the reaction. I couldn't be asked. I just thought, right, bye. And I see her sometimes. She looks at me as if to say, well, what have I done? But I just think it's your loss. You chose to be like that with me and chose to bring that negativity to me, and I don't want to know now. I don't want it in my life. And I just cut off.
But you find your tribe then, don't you? You find your group, and that's it. We're not supposed to be liked by everyone. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And I'll send you something today that I've been listening to. I've listened to it twice, and I said it was, and it's just that you like I say, just got to deal with
But
that.
not everybody likes a strong character either.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
there's strong characters. Some people shell up from it and they're like, oh, I can't be around that. They don't like it. They see it intimidating, don't they? But that's not our problem. That's their problem, isn't it?
So what's the plans? What's the future?
So we're just finishing off the headquarters now. We've got an affiliate in Dublin, South Coast, Newcastle, Leeds, Morecambe, Perth and Arizona.
Wow, busy.
Yes. So the dream is there. It's life changing. We've just sold our house. We're on our path to what we wanted, you know, and it's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. A good feeling. I love it, and you know, I'll never go behind that chair again. Now I'm all about building the brand and the business.
Yeah. It looks awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. But I'll never do 12, 14-hour days again either.
Well, you know.
Nope. I will never hug the business in like I did before. If I need help with something, admin, I'll get somebody in to help me with that.
Yeah.
And just, you know, pay staff to help me build it. You cannot do it all on your own.
Delegate.
Delegate, yeah. You know, and that is where I'm at now, and I just want to keep going with it. I'll always do it because it's my passion and it's what I love. I could never not do anything, you know. Even when it gets to that point where, well, it's at a point now really where I don't have to be there every day. If I want to put somebody behind the desk and say, take these calls, do this, do that, I can go on holiday. I could go on holiday now for 4 weeks if I wanted to.
It's just running.
Which is what I've worked for.
Yeah.
That has been my why, to get to a point where my kids can have anything they want in reason, without spoiling them too much, and my freedom.
You just answered my last question. What is your why?
My freedom.
Is it? To be able to,
to be like successful but free, not strapped, sit in one place. I'm a butterfly, I'm a business butterfly.
One last question. How are you finding Clubhouse?
I like it. I really like it. It can be a bit annoying because everybody wants to talk and you get one who talks all the time, and I think, let somebody else speak.
Yeah.
I think for me, all social media platforms can be a bit cringy in one way or another. So I can see that a little bit with Clubhouse. Everyone's a mentor. Everyone's a mentor. Everyone's a billionaire. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't want to put that on a page for me personally. I wouldn't want to say to you know what, I'm a millionaire. I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's not for me. For a few reasons. But for networking and getting to know different people, different businesses, fantastic.
I feel like, I've been on there a few weeks now, and I feel like it's still in its early stages. I still think there's a few people that are going to get called out on there. I think there's still a few Billy bullshitters in there.
Yes.
But I feel like it will create little groups. You will find your following. I think it's going to take time for settling. Do you know what I mean? You'll find the people you like to listen to. Yeah. I've already joined in a couple of really good groups, and I've networked with some really good people.
That's
and I think so. And it's nice. It's nice to say that you can have your kids in the background. I was on a call this morning. I was in a room, and my little lad was right round my feet. Do you know what I mean? I like that fact of it. I like the fact that it is. Connecting. I've got a friend over in Canada, Coach Jay, and he's been struggling recently, and we got him on there. And he's really good. He's a really good, he's a really good natural speaker and stuff like that. So to get him the buzz again, do you know what I mean? I think it's going to connect a lot of people. Whether it will be the same when we all come out of lockdown,
yes, I thought that after lockdown, will it?
Yeah, I think it might fizzle out a bit,
yeah.
but Mark Zuckerberg was in there the other day, so I presume Facebook are going to just buy it, won't they? I think that'll be the next stage. It'll just be blue and...
It's good for us though to get on it now.
Yeah, and find your feet.
I was in one last night with Susan Wells, is it? And Joe McElderry.
I don't know.
They won X Factor.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I know Vanilla Rice was in there.
That was an interesting talk actually, because we were talking about the anticlimax of when you've achieved what you want to achieve. Well, I asked the question actually. I said, how do you deal with the anticlimax?
Yeah.
And they come back with some really good pointers, really.
Did they? I think for that reason, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To be able to ask these people who was in there. So Kanye West was in there the other day.
Was he?
Yeah, he crashed the whole thing. Yeah, so Zuckerberg crashed it, and then Kanye West crashed it. But like Dead Mouse was in there before, so but he just chatted shit. He's a Canadian, like he was just chatting shit, like yeah, which is good.
No,
but
it is. I like I said, I had a couple of gins last night, and I jumped on.
Yeah.
And I left my thingy off, and I was laughing. And when I laugh, my cackle is so loud. And then somebody went, "Who's that?" And I went, "Shit!" I'm like pressing it.
Oh, we've seen it all this week. There was a guy getting kicked out because he made himself a moderator, then he banned one of the hosts from the room, and it was the whole thing kicked off. There's about like 700 people in a room.
Really?
So he's still got a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
But like I say, if you're not on there, get yourself on there, because I think it's going to be
for businesses and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
I think it's going to be a way forward. But listen,
Yeah.
thank you so
No,
much for
thank you
sharing
for
your
having me.
story. But no,
Yeah.
brilliant. All right.
Thank
If anyone
you.
needs to find anything else, I'll put your link. What's your hashtags? What's your angles?
Hashtag Kerrie Capelli,
Yeah.
and my Instagram page is @Kerrie Capelli, and my website will be live and launched at the end of February, which is kerriecapelli.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.